Welcome once again to Seattle Connected, the show that connects you with entrepreneurs, business people, movers and shakers in our community, letting you know who they are before they become household names, which we know they soon will be. Today with me is a returning guest, I guess you could say Seattle Connected alumni. This time, we are going to do a more in-depth conversation with this young lady. And her people reached out to me and, you know, we talked about it and we thought this would be a good idea. I think last time we just kind of scratched the surface of who this woman is and her journey. So hopefully with this episode, you'll learn even more about her. Please welcome back to Seattle Connected, Miss EL'ona Kearney.
Hey.
What's up? How are you doing?
I am doing awesome. And you?
Good. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, absolutely. When your team reached out, I said, you know, that's a good idea because the last time you were here, after we aired that episode, I got so much positive feedback, you know, from people saying, wow, I didn't know that there was anyone of color running for governor, a woman running for governor, and I think this is long overdue, and she seems like someone we can relate to, and oh my God, I got to get her information and such and such. So, you know, when people reach out to say things like that, I think that's cool because, you know, I wasn't paid to have you on or anything like that. So the love and the response that I'm getting is genuine. Awesome. You know, these people are just like, I just wanted to let you know she's awesome. And that's my auntie right there. And I don't even know her, but we need someone like that who's a real person to represent the real people. So I said, OK, cool. So I kept hearing good things. And I noticed that you've been moving and shaking all over the community.
Yes.
And it just seems natural. You know, I ran into you at a few events and I kind of had to wait my turn to say hello, get a hug, see what's going on, because there were so many people around you and you were just so comfortable in your element, just talking, and talking some more. But it was just cool to see. It's something that we don't see often. So I just wanted to give you your flowers on that. But yeah, so once again, welcome back. So where do you want to start this time? I mean, we can go back. We can go back. Let's go back to your childhood.
You should play that little that little part of the music. We're gonna go way back.
Yeah, we go way back in the time. Yeah. Oh, baby. Yeah. So, what was your childhood like?
My childhood was, I would say, I can't say interesting because I would say typical for our community.
Okay.
And when I say typical, is, you know, every family has its secrets. Every family has their, you know, in our community, we kind of, and not just our community, because we might stereotype other communities that have everybody living in the house. Everybody's utilizing somebody's car because their car's totaled is on that one person has the good car.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, it was that type of stereotypical home. As well as anyone who's a PK kid can relate to being a pastor's child, of having always to live up to that expectation and feel like there's a sense of you have to be perfect, because nobody in the church, maybe church has evolved a little now, but back then nobody in the church realized that you as a PK kid, you still needed some nurturing, someone to be there to have a tribe to take up for you. Not you have to be the example for everybody when you did not ask for that position, which is why I don't put my kids in that position. Even though I'm running, I don't make my kids be a part of my campaign. I don't make them do certain things because this is my journey, although they do believe in me.
Yeah.
But I know, like, being a pastor was my mom's journey. I just happened to be part of that journey without a choice.
Now, was that hard for you growing up as a pastor's kid in elementary, middle school? You know, those years can kind of be tough when you feel like anything you say, someone's going to find a way to pick on you, or what was that experience like? Was it?
You know, I think when it comes to the pastor kid part in school, I don't think anybody really much knew so much about that. But it was difficult in the sense that we moved around a lot. And, you know, when you're out, let's say if you are in the military or if someone's been to prison, they have these transition programs to help acclimate them into the next stage. Well, each time we were moving, there was nobody there to help acclimate us into this new environment that we are going into. And there was no one to say, hey, let me take you around and show you. Here's my kids. Why don't you meet up with my kids?
Guide you, right.
Yeah, so we was just kind of like every place just taken and dropped here, dropped there into different, you know, situations. And so that part was hard. And then back in those days, it was also difficult being biracial. So that was the difficult thing in school. Everyone knew I had a white dad because I always went to predominantly black schools. So on my white side of the family, we weren't accepted. So it's like you don't talk about it. Right. We don't ask about it because we don't know that side of ourselves. So which is why it's so easier for me to be comfortable to say I'm black, because I don't know that side. I didn't grow up around that side or wasn't taught about the culture of that side. But on on the black side, in the black communities, then there was always the attack of, then you are a half-breeded cracker.
Yeah, you think you're white or...
Yeah, you think you're better than us. Oh, just because you're pretty. And it's like, I'm not trying to use any of these things, but they're thrown in my face. And then there was the trying to pull your hair to see if it's really long, if that's really your hair, or trying to cut your hair without you noticing it. And then there was a situation in school where the teacher, we were talking about something. It was a black and white situation, and the black side of the class was to express how they feel in their culture with the white students. And the white students were supposed to express their feelings. And so when the teacher separated the class down, I was standing there like, okay, well, where do I go? You know, because I went to go to the black side.
Right.
And they all kicked my desk and told me, oh, you're not one of us. And so when I went to walk over to the white side, they kicked my desk and they said, you're not one of us either. So I ended up having to sit in the middle of the whole debate that they had. And so from where I sat, I told them I could actually understand how both sides feel. Yeah. Because the way that they feel and feel intimidated by you is the way that you do me because of my white side. But the way they feel disrespected by you, and you're not compassionate to the pain and hurt that they're going through, I feel that from you as well. Okay. So I get it from both ends. Okay.
So that was middle school, or was that high school?
That was high school.
High school.
Yes.
So in high school, I know that's always a tough time because you're at that point in your life where you're not a child anymore.
Yes.
At the same time, you're not fully an adult, and even though you might physically mature, mentally you're not at that adult level, not even when you're in your early 20s. I know I wasn't. But I know that's tough because you want to be yourself. At the same time, you still have those insecurities.
Yes.
From, is being myself going to be good enough?
Right.
And everyone, even though we all say, oh, it doesn't matter, and I think a lot of us might feel that way when we get older and we have our own kids, but we've all experienced times where we've wanted to be accepted.
Right.
So I know that was probably tough, and like you said, being a pastor's kid and biracial. So was high school really tough most of the time, or did you kind of find your way?
I want to say, I'll jump back a little bit because in middle school was when I was in the hospital for suicide and depression.
Really?
But I'll go back before then to childhood leading up to that. So when I was in kindergarten, there was this teacher. She's passed away now, but I never forgot her name. But she was a black teacher. And the way, so she came from that segregation time and whatnot. So for me, I don't hate people from that time because a lot of their mentality and perception is from what they know.
Yeah, passed
what,
on to them.
Yeah, and what they fear. And
right.
You can't be mad at somebody for that's all they know. But for her, I guess for her, the way that things should go is whites first, blacks, and then biracial. So when she would line us up in class, it was whites first, blacks, then me by myself. Then when we got to do things, it was whites first, same thing. When we went out to play, the white kids played with white kids, black kids played with black kids. I was not allowed to play with anybody. And so, and then her thing, and back then they could paddle you.
Yeah.
So she would paddle me every single day because my dad was white. And she said I was confused. So she would paddle me. And so I write about it in my book. I got back at her.
Yeah.
And what I did was one day she left me in the classroom because my cousins were black. So I tried to play. They wanted to play one day and we played, and she caught us playing. So I got put on punishment. I was sat in the class by myself. And while I was in the class, I went at her desk and I cut off one of my ponytails because I had long hair. Cut off one of my ponytails and put it in her desk. Because nobody, it's hard to get adults to believe you when you're telling them that this is happening, and that adult knows how to manipulate a conversation and make like it was something else. So I cut off my ponytail, put it in her desk, went to when I came out, my mom saw my ponytail was cut off. She was like, "What happened to your hair?" I said, "The teacher cut off." She said, "No teacher cut it off." I said, "Yeah, the teacher cut it off because my dad is white." Because that was the only way I could express myself. And so she went in there. So my daughter said she cut it off and it's in your desk. She said, "Oh, nothing's in my desk." So she went and opened the desk. There was my ponytail. So, that day stopped her from paddling me because my mom went off on her.
Yeah.
And she knew not to touch me again. And so growing up, it was always those different instances of teachers discriminating. But then there were other instances where teachers did do good by me, that they weren't, nasty to me. But by the time I got to middle school, I was going to a Jewish academy, and that's where the whole black-white class, that was actually middle school. Okay. I was 8th grade. That was when the whole black-white discussion happened. And my teacher, the Jewish rabbi, noticed from my writings, because everybody loves my writings. I give great speeches, write good stories in English, so everybody would always want me to read my journal entries. And so my teacher said my journal entries were disturbing, and so the rabbi said something's wrong. And then, he had me get checked out. And so that's when I ended up in the hospital, and they found out I had been suicidal. And nobody had knew that all these years, ever since I was a little girl, that I was always attempting to commit suicide. And so at that point, I was in the hospital, I want to say about 3 months. And I felt at peace there because the only people, it wasn't the church who came to see about me or to make sure I was okay. In fact, it was 2 Muslim brothers and then the gay girl that was in my room and stuff. So I always felt like they made me feel what a true tribe was. So it's like LGBTQ, because that's what it's called nowadays. Back then, we would say gay. But they made me feel like the tribe, people who wasn't even my own.
Yeah.
And then when I came out, then I was demonized for being in the hospital and was told that I was a witch and all these other things. So, so I was ostracized. And once again, I was like, I didn't feel like there was anybody there to be supportive of me. So now here I'm in high school, and now I'm committing more suicidal acts, like jumping out of 2-story windows and ODing on different things. But still, I think the last time it was like in 11th grade, and that's when I went deaf for a whole year. And I couldn't hear, and I was going back and forth to school. And I think for my mom, it was frustrating for her because it's like, I'm a pastor, and this is embarrassing. Yeah. And what do I say to my flock when my child is hurting, but nobody never came to embrace me
Yeah.
It was more of a condemnation. And so that's why I feel like I relate to Washingtonians, because we have so many people out here committing suicide. Yeah. And people are condemning them and saying, just do it and just get over it. And it's not always that simple for everybody.
Yeah. And also, I think it was a different time when you were in high school.
Yeah.
And not to say it like it was 80 years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if you were in high school 20 years ago, still, I mean, things change. And it was more of a, like you said, oh, she's a witch, or they're crazy and this and that, when you were just going through these human emotions and you needed some help dealing with it. And I think a lot of times we just sweep something under the rug thinking it'll fix itself, and then, that's it, be on your merry way. But I think there's a lot of people out there who may be experiencing the same things, and they just don't know where to get the support. And I think the first step is just stepping out and letting someone know, hey, I need support, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. And it's nothing that we should put a dark cloud over someone when they come out. Because if we do that, and then the suicide rate keeps going sky high, and then we're like, well, what's going on? Well, are we really making someone feel like you're going to treat them with open arms, or you're just going to, put a badge of shame on them? So, yeah, I can only imagine what that was like. Now, EL'ona, after high school, did you go straight into the military? Did we talk about that before?
No, and I want to say that my best year in high school was my senior year. Because my senior year, I guess you say, when I was advocating for other people, I found that I didn't focus on suicide. And I was at that time advocating for, so my mom was the first black majorette, drum major at the, at that high school. My aunt was the first black cheerleader. And this was right when segregation ended and they were merging schools. So my mom started this club called the Black and Gold Club. And it was a unity club to bring both sides together. Well, I ended up being a president of that club. But however, that club had not progressed by that time. So it was pretty much a club where they didn't let the students be part of the pep rallies, be part parades. They couldn't. We could only sell candy. And so I told them, I said, no, we're not going to sell candy. We're going to have a talent show. We're going to have this. I'm very creative. And so our guidance counselor, she's from that old school day and things. She's like, well, they say we can't. Oh, no, we're going to do this.
That's right.
So, like having that whole opportunity to do that whole year and fight for us to be able to be in the pep rallies and homecoming and all of those things, I guess, made me feel empowered when I was standing up and speaking up for others and things. Then after that, I went on to college, and at Central Florida Community College. From college, I didn't finish all of my college at the time because I was just kind of bored with school. And the only classes I enjoyed were classes where I got to write and express myself. Things like doing debates and writing, doing English classes and humanities. Those things I felt, useful. Any place where I got to advocate, those type of things. So since I was bored with school, with the other classes, that's when I went into the military.
Military, huh?
Yeah, that was like 1997, I believe that was.
Okay. What prompted you to want to go to the military? Did you have family members who served, or was it just something you said, let me try something different?
Well, I had, I had my uncle and my granddad who had been in the military, but they didn't stay in. They got out on failure to adapt. But what prompted me was that I wanted to, like I said, I was bored with school.
Yeah.
But my thing was I wasn't going back home. I didn't want to be the stereotypical of like I said, everybody living in the house, everybody's mooching off of each other, and sometimes everybody's not mooching off of each other. You have people who are there who are legitimately trying to do better, but they can't afford to because it's never enough. Their income doesn't bring in enough. And I said, I didn't want to be that. So the only other option to me was, I'm going into the military because at least I don't have to live with anybody. They're going to make sure I got a place to stay.
That's right. So what was that experience like? Was it what you were expecting, or were you shell shocked? Like, oh my God, what did I sign myself up for? This is something different. Mama, I want to come back home.
I guess you say it was kind of mixed for me. When it was tough, I was good. When it was easy, then I wanted to go home. And I guess the toughness made me not focus on being sad or depressed about anything, but it gave me that motivation to do something. And the toughness too, I was always getting in trouble because I was always advocating. They might say, oh, so-and-so didn't do this. Everybody's doing push-up. I said, not me. So-and-so gonna have to take their own punishment today.
Yeah.
But when I would turn around and ask, I said, well, I want to go home. I'm ready to go home. They said, no, you're staying in. And like at the end of graduation, my one first sergeant pulled my mom to the side. He said, you know what? He said, I don't know. Your daughter is very stubborn.
Yeah.
The military is supposed to make you or break you. We couldn't do neither to her.
Right.
But when she wanted to go, we told her, we see a lot of leadership in her. She's not going anywhere. So when I got to school and permanent party, all of my my colonels and those always had me working alongside them. I had a very, spunky attitude.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I was very feisty.
Yeah, very vocal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they were like, oh, she's coming with me.
Okay. Because
they know I would be ready to pop off. Oh, excuse me? What did you say? There's like, she's coming over here. And so they saw so much leadership in me that I got my promotions. I did 4 promotions in less than a year and a half.
Wow.
And they said they don't normally do that, but they tried to get me to go to sergeant school. And I was like, oh no, because I do not like rappelling.
Right.
And so I am not rappelling off of another wall. I'll stay E4. Leave me at E4. But they always, my first sergeant would always push me. I remember the first day I met my first sergeant, I walked into his desk. I put my feet up on his desk. Like I was just purposely trying to be disrespectful because I was purposely trying to get kicked out. And I said, okay, I'm ready to go. So how are we going to do this? And the first sergeant, he pushed my feet off the desk and he said, you know what? He said, everybody sees a lot of leadership in you, but you don't see things in yourself that you don't see. And what I want you to do is to promise me that you'll give me 6 months to bring out of you what you don't see. And if you give me those 6 months wholeheartedly and you still want to go, then I'll help you get out. And he said, we'll go from there. Well, within them 6 months, he convinced me that I was a good leader.
Okay.
And I did everything he said. I did everything he asked. I stopped talking back. I stopped, stopped getting in trouble because I think I might have had an Article 15 for my mouth at one point.
Yeah.
But too, the experience was good and enlightening because my perception and my mindset was from a lot of hurt. And the way I viewed people and would treated people was from that place of hurt. But when I learned to see things from different angles and to see that other people are hurting and how can we learn to build relationships and cultivate those things, because I was a computer analyst, but I didn't always do computer analyst work because like I said, the colonel, a full bird colonel, my commander and my first sergeant kept me under their wings. So they pulled me into the office. I got to work with budgets with them. I got to work with maintaining soldiers, writing policies, and I got to be in all of those different meetings. I was in military intelligence, so we had top secret portions and those type of things. So all of those I got to participate in because of them. There was an incident that happened in the military right before me getting out. Was I was sexually assaulted by a sergeant that was over me, and I didn't report it. Other people who witnessed it reported, and I didn't want to report it because I always know what happens. The victim gets blamed, and maybe you did this to provoke it. And so when I ended up having my PTSD at the time, it was never against men, it was always against women. Because immediately after that happened, every man in my unit, including that full-birth colonel, the commander, every one of them came and surrounded me. They hugged me. They was like, no, we got you, like they just let me cry, and they just like held me, and it's like my first sergeant, if you were my daughter, I'm gonna do this, and my first sergeant, like everybody, and all the men in the unit were like, you're like our little sister.
Yeah.
And so that made it not be a traumatic moment for me against men to where I would hate men. Yeah. The situation was when women were like, oh, well, you wore this and you that, and those type of things made it where I had a little animosity at the time for women.
Got it. Because I can honestly say I know you don't hate men.
Yeah.
Because of that special person in your life. I consider him your security. Your so many things. I was gonna say that assistant, your promoter, your manager, your everything, man. You have the coolest husband.
Yes.
Now, did you meet him in the military?
No, I didn't meet him in the military.
How'd you guys meet? Or we can go on to another question.
Like, interesting story.
Yeah.
We actually met through his ex-wife.
Okay.
At the time, I was friends with his ex-wife at the time, and they were having a bad marriage, but it was none of my business, and I just stayed out of it. But one day she just made like this massive post that she was getting a divorce because she was moving to Florida, and he didn't want to move to Florida, and she wanted to be. She's a big Trump supporter.
Okay.
So, and she felt like black Lives Matter, and that we were ghetto, and he has black people in his family that she didn't get along with. So she just made this massive post and things. And so after that, I guess she locked all the doors and had him sleeping in his car on the side of the road. And so he called me up one day because he said, thank you for taking up for me in that post, and saying like, that's very disrespectful and disgusting for you to put that out there when you have somebody who's doing hardcore, for you. And like, because people were chiming in, just going on, I said, you guys need to stay out of other people's business and go find out and listen to both sides, or mind your business,
right,
kind of things. And so he, called and thanked me. And then later I found out he was staying in his car, and I was like, I got an extra room here and whatnot. So that's how we ended up.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's very supportive, and he's really cool. He's someone I could tell who really cares about his community. And the first time I talked to him, man, we were just talking for a while, and he just seemed like he was like, just asking me about myself, and he was just talking about where he sees the state of Washington could be, how it used to be, and the qualities that he sees in you. And I know he's your husband, but he really was talking to me like you were someone else. Like, you telling a friend, man, you have to watch this movie. I'm telling you, it was good. So he was like, no, listen, this is her plan. This is the issues, she stands on. This is what she means. No, she really feels that way. And this is the proof. And I'm like, yo, I believe you. I believe you. And I walked away just like empowered because I really believed what he was saying. And it came across so honest and, relatable. And I know he's been very instrumental in this journey of yours.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges that you have experienced, I guess, not only from the opposite party, but your own party, your community, other people who look at you and just make these assumptions? Like, what has that been like since you threw your hat in the race?
Okay. Whew. Well, we always know that it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And my thing is, and I'm going to give y'all a hashtag Google me moment.
Okay.
Which is, don't call me and tell me about how hard it is to run this race, or how it's an uphill battle, or they're going to try to pull up stuff on you. Everybody knows that. Like, come on. I knew that going in. I don't think not a person doesn't know that. So if you're calling me talking about you trying to help me, that means you're only really trying to sow seeds of doubt, because to me, you're working for somebody else, or you're Uncle Tom in it for somebody else. So don't call me with it. You can miss me with it, because I'm going to tell you just like I told the last person a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to save you your time and me my time. And what I know about this race, I've done my research, and before you say things like, you need millions of dollars to run. No, you don't. All I need is to have that $2,000 next year for the campaign pamphlet. That's all I need. However, there have been 10 people that I've researched that have recently won their primaries for governor in other states. So I know some people like, oh, well, that's other states. Well, we have the opportunity here because this is a Democratic state.
That's right.
This is a state that is about progressiveness and moving forward and doing better and making changes. So don't tell me about those other states, because one was a black man in Jackson, Mississippi. He won the primaries. He didn't have a website. He didn't have no yard signs. He did nothing. And he won the primaries. His own family said they didn't even know he was running until they looked at the ballot and saw his name on there.
Yeah.
So he won. The only reason why he didn't win the generals is because the Democrat Party came after him, and they found that, I guess, he had child pornography, which is understandable. You're not going to win.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
The generals.
Yeah.
That's understandable. The other guy, black man, North Carolina, won. I don't think he had a yard sign, but he was a Navy veteran. He won the primaries, but I think because he wouldn't cooperate with the party and whatnot, so the party, the Democrat Party, went to go pull his name down and say that then he's not one of us. And we need to stop doing that, and we need to stop letting parties do that to us. So it does not take millions of dollars if 10 people have won campaigns with no money.
This is true. This is true, because I think sometimes we put such an emphasis on, oh, this candidate has millions of dollars and all these ads nonstop. But a lot of times I look at it like it could be trying to cover something up. When someone tries so hard to get you to believe something, or they throw money at the situation, it's like, all right, that's cool, but where's your time at?
Yeah.
Where's your energy? What's your focus? What's your plan? Because, I've talked to various people, and beyond, this year, beyond this show, and they've told me this candidate's cool. It'll be someone I never heard of, but their views align with mine. There's another candidate who I'm hearing about nonstop. I never see them any of the places I'm at. No one knows them, where I grew up in the town that I'm at. I mean, my family's been here for years. So someone I know should know of this person. If they're really from Washington, if they're really passionate about the community, I should be able to see them in the community. Or someone I know should be able to see them in the community. You shouldn't be a ghost, because if you want the support of the state or the county that you represent, you really got to connect with the people beyond campaign time. Let me take a photo op. Hey, look at me. I'm shaking hands and kissing babies. It's like, all right, that's cool, but are you a genuine person?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It comes across phony. So I think that's one of the things that stands out about you in your journey. And I said that earlier, I've seen from a distance how people interact with you, because it's natural. People are coming up to you. I've been eavesdropping. People will come up to you telling you about I've been in this domestic situation. What advice would you offer me? Hey, my daughter wants to run for office one day. I've heard people say, I think that's so cool. Oh, look at you. You got your outfit together. Or I'm a single mom. Do you have any advice? Or I want to make sure the homeless problem is cleaned up. Like, people will come to you just telling you their life story. And I think that's so cool. Yeah. And it shows the impact that you've already made. So, I salute you for that.
Thank you. And like you said, I don't show up for no photo ops. I show up, and like if you see on my page, there's a lady, she tagged me because I volunteered at her booth. And helped her out. She didn't have nobody to help her out, and she was working with children over at the Lakewood Festival. Yeah. And I said, sure, I'll help you out. So I sat there, helped her set up. My husband and I, helped her put up her tent and everything, and those type of things. No, I come out and I participate. I don't show up for a photo op and then, I'm holding a plate, passing it out to the homeless. Yeah. Cheese. Cheese. Okay, have a nice day.
Vote for Kearney. Hey.
Right.
No,
yeah.
And I've seen you places dancing, jump roping, hula hooping. I've seen you like racing people, like got your sneakers tied up. You're like, let's go, and it's like, that's cool because I don't,
And if you catch me in a race, anybody could beat me, including the tortoise. So.
But you know what? It's all about the effort and you putting it out there. So it's okay. It's not about, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. And even if you finish, that's an accomplishment right there. So yes. I know you've probably have dealt with people wanting you to drop out and not wanting you to see that you come this far.
I said that's kind of like both sides. So yeah, the Republican side, a GOP person, which I can't say names, but
don't give them that shine.
Yeah, but that person told me being black don't make me special. And then then another person, they weren't a GOP person, but they were somebody from the Republican group that took me out to lunch and said that I was going to split the votes. Yeah, I'll split the votes. If I drop out, then they can run my campaign as an initiative. Then they can find me donors who would donate millions, and then I can get paid and have a paycheck, and then I wouldn't have to deal with all the BS of running for governor.
That's BS right there.
Yeah, and I told them, I said, no, I'm good. I'm good, but thank you. But it's like, but they know donors who would love what my campaign is about. Right. But they're not going to give me those donors because they that's going to split the votes. And I said, that's okay. You good? And then the Democrat person, Democrats to me made a worse case offer, which was, why don't you have your business? We can make sure that you get funding, government funding. I can make sure I get government funding my own, like you. Yeah. They at least over here offer me some $1 million to where I wouldn't be told what to do, because for me, government funding controls you. 501c tells you what to do. It's like I might as well just be on food stamps at this point. Yeah. And I don't knock anybody for having a nonprofit. More power to you. But at the same token, I don't want nobody dictating to me of where my views and values have to be, because they have to align with what the government approves of me to say or not say. Yeah. So, so I said, that's a sucky offer. But yeah. So, but then where it came in is running your party is you're entitled to things. Yeah. Now, my thing is, I'll say we have equality when it comes to running. You can sign up. There's the information there, the PDC website where you can go look up stuff. You can call. The people there are nice. I can stay on hours for them, and the people at the PDC office will answer my questions and stay on there for me. But if it's the other, but when it's the party, I've asked for the vote builder list. That vote builder list, so I can be able to email people out, let them know I'm running, ask for funding, do those email. And I have not received it. I've been asking for it since last year in May. I have my email proof. Then I've gone to the party itself, my local, and I think the national I've sent the email to, because I don't know who to get in touch with because nobody answers the phone. So I let them know I've tried to get this vote builder list. Nobody still gives it to me. But yet they're out here vote builder emailing everybody else up about all my opponents' campaign.
Yeah.
So has been an uphill battle, and there's equality that I can go look it up myself, which is very time consuming, but not equitable, because my opponents do have the easy route, and they're sitting up here posting we're grassroots, but nobody's grassroots like me. I have a video that I haven't posted yet of my car breaking down, and I'm out here campaigning, and then I have to try to get a jump, and then I have to go try to do these other things. That's grassroots. Somebody out here that I have to decide if I'm paying for my lunch or do I need to pay for this campaign gas to go and meet people and talk to them. That's grassroots.
Amen. That's true. And wow, we could do a part 3, 4, 5, 6 and still not cover everything. Before we go, what would you like to tell the people at home, I guess, how they can get involved, support you, and just know more about Miss EL'ona Kearney, who's running for governor?
Yes, check us out on peoplebeforeparty.com. Real simple, peoplebeforeparty.com. Go there, donate. Every donation helps. I have a goal of 50,000 people. Help me reach 50,000 people, to get 50,000 people to donate 2024. That can be $20 in 24. If I get 50,000 people donating that's $1 million to help us to get more visibility. If I get people to donate 2024, because the race is in 2024. So all of those things help. Volunteers are always welcome. If you want to pass out some flyers, go out there and help get some more visibility, host an event, just set up a party at your house party. I'm stopping by. I like food. Just so you know, I'm vegan. I don't eat no meat, by the way. but though all of those type of things help. If you know anybody, campaign manager, I can definitely use a campaign manager at this point. And share the word, spread the word, because all it is really about visibility. Letting everybody know that I'm here. And the more visibility I get, the more votes I'm going to get.
That's true. And the more visibility you get, that's even more visibility for the community that you represent and you're trying to take care of and have their back like you always have. So once again, you always say that you're not running.
Yeah, I'm not running for governor. We are running.
There you go. Yes. I like it. Thank you so much for stopping by again. You always have a voice here on Seattle Connected. Thank you for your hard work, and keep on. You didn't come this far to stop, right?
Right.
Amen. So thank you guys for watching again. And as always, it's important to take care of others, but please make sure you take time to take care of yourself. Until next time, stay connected. Peace.